Hello and welcome to Oweleketv News. I am Confidence Oko. Thank you for joining us. And now the news headlines. NUEE and NUJ threaten strike action by Wednesday due to full subsidy removal. Tinubu should declare a state of emergency over Ajaokuta mills, says Timothy Yahaya. Tinubu and his vice should publicly disclose their assets, PDP says. And in sports, Mexican team León defeats Los Angeles FC 1-0. Welcome back, and now the news in details. Between August 2019 and May 2023, the Nigeria Immigration Service produced 4,591,055 passports in total. Additionally, during the time period under consideration, there were no fewer than 5 million passport applications. Data from a Ministry of Interior document revealed that over 1.6 million passports were produced in total in 2022, and 660,611 passports had been produced between January and May of 2023. The publication also included the total number of visa classes that the service had granted to foreign nationals. It said that over 300 visas had been issued overall throughout the time period under consideration. Additionally, throughout this time, the number of visa types rose from 6 to 79. Over 9 million foreign travelers were estimated to have entered the country between August 2019 and May 2023. Over 150,000 records of stolen and lost travel documents were posted in the Interpol database during the study period. The Office of Accountant General of the Federation has been indicted by the Senate for failing to return short-term loans made from special funds accounts totaling 910 billion naira that were issued to ministries, departments, and agencies. Following the submission of the 2017 Auditor General report, the parliamentarians learned of this after a careful inquiry by the Senate Public Accounts Committee, which is chaired by Senator Matthew Ohogide. Although the loans were intended to be short-term, the 910.4 billion naira in loans and debts from special funds accounts showed that the balances remained outstanding throughout the year. However, the Office of the Accountant General asserted in its answer that the Minister of Finance had received many letters authorizing the settlement of the loans given against the affected MDA's budgets. The AGF office also stated that it had asked the minister to include funds for the loan repayment in the 2017 budget. The Ohogide-led committee highlighted that executive was consistently misusing the special funds since withdrawals were made for political purposes that were unrelated to the original intent of the money. Moving on to other news stories, Nigeria's oil input quota will be decreased by 20.7% as a result of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and its allies' agreement to reduce world oil production by 1.39 million barrels per day. The largest economy in Africa will have its daily production quota reduced to 1.308 million barrels under the revised production schedule decided upon in the virtual conference, which will run from January to December 2024. The anticipated output quotas for Nigeria were 1.826 million BPD, 1.83 million BPD, 1.826 million BPD, and 1.74 million BPD for the months of August, September, October, and November, respectively. However, Nigeria's failure to reach earlier targets has reduced the amount of dollars earned from oil sales. The country's crude is stranded in large quantities as consumers switch to less expensive options. The sale of the Yahaya Pediatric Hospital, which the current administration of Kano State purportedly sold, has been revoked, according to Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf. This was revealed by Yusuf on Sunday in a message on his Twitter account. The governor stated that the reason for the revocation was to refurbish the medical facility. For over 30 years, the hospital has focused only on the care of women and children. He wrote, "Today we paid an assessment visit to the Yahaya Pediatric Hospital, once a haven for medical care to children and women in our state for over 30 years, which was closed down by the previous administration." He continued, "I've revoked its sale to an individual for a paltry sum, and we shall now work towards renovating and reopening it for public use." We'll now be going on a short break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from the break and over to subsidy stories. The federal government convened a meeting on Sunday to discuss the elimination of the fuel subsidy and the ensuing increase in fuel pump prices across the nation. The Nigeria Labour Congress refused to attend. The union emphasized that unless a legitimate team was assembled, it would not engage in any discussion with government representatives. However, representatives from the Trade Union Congress were present during the meeting, which was a follow-up to the last week's impasse-filled negotiations with the NLC at the presidential villa in Abuja. In response to the Bola Tinubu administration's decision to eliminate fuel subsidies, the electrical sector has promised to embark in a nationwide strike and cause a nationwide blackout. The union's decision to skip the meeting, which was a follow-up to the Wednesday meeting on the elimination of subsidies, was confirmed by the National Treasurer of the NLC, Hakeem Ambali. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, NLC, had pushed on the reversal of the petrol pump price, which was set at between 488 naira and 540 naira during the meeting that was attended by the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele and others. Following the failure of negotiations, the Congress decided in its next meeting on Friday to begin a nationwide strike. Still on the subsidy story, the abrupt elimination of fuel subsidy by the Nigerian government has prompted the National Union of Electricity Employees, NUEE, to order its members to stop work across the country. The NUEE advised its members to follow the order and stop work from Wednesday in a notice that was signed by Dominic Iwebike, the organization's acting general secretary. In his inaugural address, President Bola Tinubu proclaimed that the petroleum subsidy scheme will end because it was, in his words, unsustainable. Following the news, the NNPCL on Wednesday instructed all of its shops to sell petrol for between 480 naira and 570 naira per litre, an increase of about 200% from the initial price. In response to the news, the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, declared that if the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, does not change the new oil pricing regime by Wednesday, the 7th of June 2023, it will stage a statewide demonstration. In a letter to its members responding to the sudden removal of the fuel subsidy, which it claimed caused untold hardship for Nigerians and increased inflation in the economy, the NUEE said its decision was a result of the NLC Emergency National Executive Council NEC meeting held on the 2nd of June at the Labour House in Abuja. Moving on now, the People's Democratic Party has urged President Bola Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima to follow in the footsteps of the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua by openly disclosing their assets as a sign of their resolve to set an example for others. On Sunday, the PDP made the statement through Debo Ologunjagba, its national publicity secretary. In a phone interview with The Punch, Ologunjagba stated that simply filing out assets declaration forms and returning them to the Code of Conduct Bureau would not be sufficient for the president and vice president to comply with the law. Ologunjagba challenged both men to demonstrate to the world that they are truly different by following Yar'Adua's example and publicly revealing their material and financial worth before Nigerians, despite the PDP's opposition to Tinubu's designation as the winner of the presidential election, which took place on the 25th of February 2023. Julius Abure, the Labour Party's national chairman, said Tinubu should be given some time to declare his assets. Festus Keyamo, the spokesman for the disbanded APC Presidential Campaign Council, fought back against calls for the president to make a public disclosure of his assets. Senior Nigerian advocate Keyamo stated public declaration of assets is not legally required. Public knowledge of this is due. Choices are all that are needed. Anyone who feels that doing so is morally required is free to do so. However, that is up to the individuals. Timothy Yahaya, the Bishop of the Diocese of Kaduna in the Anglican Communion, has criticized Nigerian political figures over the Dangote refinery in Lagos' recent completion and commissioning. He claimed that one person had accomplished what an entire nation had failed to do, to the detriment of more than 200 million of Nigerians. According to Bishop Yahaya, the only thing the country's leaders could do was to use oil as a political football. He told journalists that the country's authorities should hang their heads in shame for failing to offer the nation's thronging population such enormous amounts of functional economic worth and benefits throughout the years. He continued by adding that Tinubu should declare a state of emergency over the Ajaokuta steel rolling mills because it was past time for the country to diversify its economy and cease being overly dependent on the oil industry. He compared the abandoned Ajaokuta steel rolling mills to a diamond mine and said that if the mills are restored to improve the economy, many people will be lifted out of poverty. Up next is international news after the break. Welcome back from the break. Despite being charged with money laundering, Ricardo Martinelli, the former president of Panama, won his party's primary on Sunday and the right to run for re-election in the following year's elections. Martinelli, who served as president from 2009 to 2014, is accused of using improperly obtained state funds in 2010 to purchase the bulk of the Editora Panama America Publishing Company. He and 12 other defendants were the subject of a prosecutor's 12-year prison term request last week. Nevertheless, he won the primary for his party, achieving goals which he created in 2021 on Sunday. Despite a low turnout of only 25%, Martinelli received 96% of the vote according to the Election Commission. The election will take place in May of the following year. During his administration, about $44 million in state infrastructure contracts are alleged to have been stolen by Martinelli and others through a number of front businesses, according to the prosecution. Martinelli allegedly used some of this money to purchase a majority interest in the media corporation, whose newspapers published editorials supporting the interests of the former president. Market tycoon Martinelli believes he is a victim of political intrigue that wants to keep him from running for president. He denies receiving any illegal benefits. Since leaving office, Martinelli has been the subject of numerous corruption investigations. On charges of espionage and misappropriation of public funds, he was once more exonerated in 2021. And now over to sports news. On Sunday, Mexican team León defeated Los Angeles FC 1-0 to defeat the Major League Soccer winners 3-1 overall to claim the inaugural CONCACAF Winners' League championship. Lucas Di Iorio of Argentina scored the game's sole goal in the 20th minute when Los Angeles goalkeeper John McCarthy was unable to stop the South American forward's errant attempt. After coming in second place in the 1993 tournament's previous edition, León had to wait a very long time to experience success in the top club competition for the CONCACAF area. With the victory, León will earn a spot in both the current edition of the FIFA Club World Cup, which has 16 teams, and the expanded 32-team tournament scheduled for 2025. But the defeat represented another heartbreakingly close call for LAFC, who were also attempting to win the competition for the first time after failing to Mexican team Tigres in the 2020 final. And just before we go, we'll be joining Hadiza Galadima for entertainment tidbits.
Thank you, Confidence, and welcome to Entertainment Tidbits. Afrobeat megastar sensation Burna Boy has made history yet again as he becomes the first African artist to solo headline an 80,000 capacity London stadium in a sold-out concert of Love the Mini World Tour. Burna Boy thrilled his fans to a collection of his hit songs at the West Ham Football Stadium in the United Kingdom, as he continues to set the record or the pace as one of the leading artists leading the international push of Afrobeats. Now over to the Nigerian movie industry, where Nollywood veteran actress Stephanie Okereke-Linus joins Chance the Rapper, Brendan Fraser, and other global filmmakers as the 2023 Tribeca Film Carnival jury member. The film festival, which was founded by Robert De Niro in 2021, is slated to hold from June 7th to 18th of this month, 2023. That's it on Entertainment Tidbits. I am Hadiza Galadima. Back to you, Confidence.
Thank you very much, Hadiza. And that's it on the news on Oweleketv today. But before we go, here is a recap of the headlines. NUEE and NUJ threaten strike action by Wednesday due to full subsidy removal. Tinubu should declare a state of emergency over Ajaokuta mills, says Timothy Yahaya. Tinubu and his vice should publicly disclose their assets, PDP says. And in sports, Mexican team León defeats Los Angeles FC 1-0. Don't forget to subscribe and follow our YouTube channel at Oweleketv. Also follow our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Oweleketv. You can also visit our website at oweleke.tv to catch up on all our news stories. Till I come your way next time with more interesting news, I am Confidence Oko. Thank you for watching.